So I'm going to teach you about the future of dry farming in California. But I'm going to do it not from California. I'm going to do it from Maui. Check this out. Waikulu Distillery Hawaiian Blue Agave Spirits. See that color right there? That's the color that we're after. I just happened upon this place and I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm doing the same thing at my ranch. Let's go spy around and check it out. Let's go. And that's what I'm talking about right there. Blue agave grown in Maui, right here. And this is going to be a big time crop in California, I can tell you. These things can grow without any water whatsoever in California. And it takes about 5 to 7 years for these things to mature. Now, you can't call the product that's distilled from the agave tequilana plants we see here tequila, because the Mexican government has created a denomination of area that the only places you can grow the plant and distill the product and call it tequila is from this very area. You can't even call it mezcal because they have the same thing in a broader area in different regions of Mexico. So basically it's going to be called blue agave spirits. And in this case, it's from Maui. In our case, it's going to be from California. But look at the beautiful, just follow this thing around. Look at this. I mean, how beautiful of a crop is this? And think about it. It can be farmed completely dry, all right? Now here's our subject plant. This is getting very close to the time of harvest. So when they get really big like this, probably like about maybe 10 feet by 6 feet tall by 10 feet wide, you're going to go in and you're going to get a koa, which is a big modified shovel with a really sharp edge on it. And you get in here and you go whack, 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 real quick. And then the person in Mexico that does that is called a jimador. It's sort of a kind of like almost a religious cult thing. Like if you're a jimador, you're a really cool dude. So hopefully we can get that going in California. The guys that do this hard work, it's going to be a status symbol to even do the work. Hopefully I will attain that status symbol myself because I'm sure I'll be the guy doing it eventually. Now the agave here, the blue agave, it has this beautiful coloration. If you look closely, you can see the shadow marks, the indentations of the previous leaf on here, which makes it even that much more beautiful. And what's interesting, the color is coming from this material here, which really is here to reflect the sun. And that's what causes it to be so drought tolerant. One of the things, first of all, it's fully succulent, but you can actually rub this off and you end up with just a dull green plant that doesn't have nearly the magic that the blue agave has. But the color of the blue agave is reliant upon this coating here, and the plant itself is reliant upon that coating so it can retain water and reflect it back to the atmosphere. And if you think about it for global warming, that's a good thing because we don't want heat to get sucked onto the earth. We want it reflected back up, just like the Arctic, you know, with the white snow reflecting back up, we're losing that. So the more agave that you plant, the more light reflection you'll have back into the atmosphere. And we might even solve global warming from this. Probably not, but it won't hurt. So anyway, after about 5-7 years, you grow these things up and you cut off all of the leaves here. It ends up with a big giant pineapple looking thing. We're gonna go take a look at some over here. And then you dig those things out, throw them in your little wagon, take them out to the front. And in most cases, you're probably going to be selling those to a distillery and they will do the rest of the work because it's extremely difficult to crush these things and process them. You could do it. This place actually does it. But in my case, at my ranch, I'm not going to be distilling my own product. I'm going to be selling the piñas to someone else who will. And then I'll just get my label and slap it on there, super easy, and sell it to anybody who is interested. So let's walk around, check this place out. Like I said, it's a beautiful, beautiful crop. All you need to do is space these things. In this case, we have these plants spaced out about 12 feet apart. The rows are spaced 12 feet. Let's measure it. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's about 12 feet, maybe 13 at the most. That gives you a nice row, an access row to mow, and it also gives you a nice processing area. If you get them too tight, you know, these things are pretty sharp. Come look at the thorns here. All right, these things could get in your eye. A lot of people will actually trim these off before they work on them. Now the thorns on this side of the plant, they're oriented outward. So you can actually get in here and work as long as you go in this direction, no problem. If you go in the other direction, you're gonna get stuck. But the good news is I've worked amongst these plants before and the thorns themselves are not that big. They're very small. So it's not like something that's going to go in very deep. So you can actually work with this plant. You can get in with this plant. You can be kind of intimate with it. You know, it's not really going to hit you that bad. And if it does, you just pull out the little thorns and they're no big deal. So this is one of the reasons out of the several hundred, at least 150 different types of agave, this is the one they've used historically for tequila production. Now, they don't even know where it's native to, nor can they find any plants in habitat that are native. These are all clones. The babies come off the bottom here, and this is how the plant is replicated. You dig those up and you just keep expanding your grove over time. You just need some mother plants to get going. Now, we will be selling the mother plants, so rest assured you can get them from us. What else do you know about this plant? It's extremely wind tolerant. If you're in a really windy area, not a big deal. It's extremely undemanding. You do want to cut off the suckers as they come out because you want all the energy to go to the mother plant to create that big piña. Speaking of piñas, let's go see it. Come on. All right, that's your maintenance right there. That's how you do it. All you do is a ride-on lawnmower and pull off all the babies and wait to make some tequila. This is pretty much the end product of what you're going after here. These are the big piñas. These things are pretty heavy. This one weighs probably about 60 pounds, I would say. And if they get too heavy on you, you chop them in half, make them a little bit lighter. But you also want to have enough space between your rows to have a trailer where you can go through them and just pile them up, or at least for a tractor, because you don't want to be rolling these things all the way up to the processing facility or to where you're going to load your truck to ship them to the processing facility. And I guess you could do that if you had a sloped property. You could just roll them down the hill like bowling balls, but that's probably not the proper way to do it. So there you go. If you need any starter plants, give us a call. And if you're interested in getting a plantation going, I definitely do consultation to help you lay it out or whatever you might need. Thanks a lot and have a wonderful blue agave spirited day.